Have you ever wondered why some people become so successful in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond, and while others keep chasing their tail and they don't even know or figure out what life is all about? Me, I'm about to share 10 life changing lessons I wish I knew years ago from a 75-year-old. I had the privilege of hearing from some profound advice from a 75-year-old, and it really shifted my perspective, and that really set me free. And today it's also your turn to get your liberation. I believe if it doesn't really have any impact on you at all, at least it will touch and smoothen up your finances. So I want you to stay with me, and I know by the end of this you'll be glad you did. Hi, my name is Nathan, and we help men and women above 40 to use their knowledge and experience to generate great income online, far more than even what they could even earn after their pension and all that. If you are here with me and you really, really resonate with me on that, you can check this out down the description. This is what we call our income revolution at 40. It's a program that allows you to live life on your own terms. Now, you don't really need to depend on anybody, but you can generate a systemic cash flow into your account that can help you even after pension. Now, let's get right into it. I'm going to give you a 10-point plan, and I want to stay with me till I finish. Don't just go anywhere. The first point is about your precious now. That is your perfect triangle. That is when you have money, health, and time. The second point is about how you balance your time. Managing work and family. The third point is about the power of no, our ability to say no in terms of how we use our time. The fourth point is about your time versus your money, the real currency. Then my fifth point will be how you invest in your well-being. How to extend that beyond your now. The sixth point is how you buy back your time wherever it is possible. And now the seventh is about how you can be aware of your status trap. Then the eighth talks about your retirement expenses. The ninth talk about how you nurture your connections. And the last but not the least, the 10 is how you run towards purpose and not just away from work. I believe these are going to be wholesome points that when they are well digested, you come to realize that you are going to have great transformation beyond your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I want you to stay with me tightly till the end, and the transformation will be yours at the end of the day. Okay, now let's start with point number one. That is your precious now triangle. Now, what do I mean by this triangle? So remember those perfect moments, the triangle of life. If you cast your mind back, you know when you have the time, the health, and the money to do what you truly desire. Your 50 and your early 60s are often that sweet spot. So don't just get caught up in that moment. Your daily grind, your postponement of those adventures, those trips, and those active pursuits. They are all very important aspects of life. That window of opportunity might be shorter than you think. So don't let somebody or someday becomes never. Actually, because there are 30 days on a calendar, and someday is never one of them. So you need to prioritize your activities. At the time when everything looks perfect, when you think your health is in good shape, and you have all the time that it takes to do whatever you want to do, and you have the liberty and the money and everything at all, so your triangle is in perfect shape. That is when you must also remember that there are things that needs balancing: family, friends, background, and each and every other one. Now, I remember when my son was graduation, and my paycheck master said I can't go. That's when I realized that whoever put paychecks in your hand has bought your freedom completely. Now, this shouldn't be what life should be. There should be a balance where, yes, you work and you earn some money, but you must also make time to fulfill other aspects of life activities without compromising on them. So point two talks about how do you balance your time beyond work and family. You are likely probably juggling career and family at the same time, but don't neglect the third vital type time, which is your renewal. How can you renew and rejuvenate yourself? Now, what truly charges your battery? What causes you to reignite yourself and become active again? What makes time fly by because you are so engrossed in that particular thing? And then whether it's nature or it's hobbies or probably creative pursuit, you need to prioritize it. These are very important parts of our life, and most of the time we take them for granted because we feel they are not really bringing value or money or any other thing to us. But I tell you, if you have experienced brownout before, you know what I'm talking about. This isn't a luxury. It is essential for sustaining your energy and enjoying the other areas of your life, which you really need to do. You need to reconnect with your old friends and old passions. You might be surprised at the joy that this can bring in your older ages. Now, I quite remember I'm not a type that really loved drinking alcohol, but once a while, I drop in at where I know my old pals gather. And guess what? Most times we could laugh so much about our old school days till our long hurt. And it brings relief. It relieves old memories, and then it causes us to actually rejuvenate and become much younger. These things are very, very important. So if you have friends that you've neglected for so long, please get in touch with them. I mean, find time to meet. I mean, just spare a little time, visit somebody that you have missed for so long. Now, when you read Bill Perkins wrote a book that is Die Zero. And he said, and I quote, he says, memories have dividends. And each time you recall a memory, the joy and excitement that you experience are the dividend. So we must endeavor to invest in wonderful memories. Now, wonderful memories, as he's saying, are the dividend that you acquire out of all the activities that you undertake in life. Now, in your older times, the best thing that could ever happen to you is that when you remember those good memories, they come to you as a refreshment. I mean, you remember, you smile, and it's enlightening your life. So these are very important things to take into consideration. Now let's jump on to point 3, which is the power of no. Now this is an important aspect, and this is something that I am very particular about because it has brought a lot of transformation into my life. And in your younger years, saying yes really open doors. But in your 50s and in your 60s, it's okay, even crucial, to say no more often, because now your time is quite limited and you are really apportioning it to the most important thing. So you can't just say yes to anything like you used to do when you are in your 20s and in your 30s. Now you have to respect your needs and you have to protect your energy, and then also prioritize what truly brings you peace and joy. Now, saying no to unnecessary obligation, it frees you up, for what truly matters to you. Now, I remember very well when I was building my business, there are times when friends have come requesting my time. Sometimes I felt embarrassed, but I have to firmly insist and say no. Now, saying no should not cause you to be embarrassed. It means you know your priorities and you know what are most important to you, and therefore you have every reason why to turn down somebody who really want to misuse your time. So you also have to learn to do this. I mean, make sure that you really know when to say yes and then when to say no, so that your time will be well prioritized. Now, point number 4 says time versus money. Now, this is the real currency. Now, most of the time we look at money in itself, but time in actual fact is the real currency. You've likely accumulated some financial stability, and that's wonderful. But if you've not, it's not too late. Like I said, we have a program called IRA 40, which in actual fact, we help and assist people beyond 40 to generate consistent income using their knowledge and experiences that they've had in life. Now you can check this at the bottom of the description. We have a link there that can get you involved. It just really rhyme with you. But I know and I believe that when you join us, transformation will surely come and you'll be able to balance up your finances. But never forget that time is the ultimate non-renewable resource. And these resources can never be renewed. Every day you have less of it. but be very intentional about how you spend it. I mean, if you can just go about just spending time on things that are not too important to you at this level of your life, you will realize that a whole lot of time will pass you by. And it's a pivotal time to shape the second half of your life. And don't let time slip away unnoticed. In fact, you have to know and direct time where it should go, and don't ask where the time has gone. So find a way to redeem your time and invest it into your coming future. And I believe you will be able to have much more benefit out of that. Another thing that I want to share from the 75-year-old that was shared with me was that we should learn to build systems and do something with our life that will pay us forever. I mean, in this time, as you are closing in on the last part of your life, you must have the ability to invest into systems, things that can be recycled, things that will keep finishing and bringing you income forever and ever. When you look at our program, that's the IRA 40, that has become my redeemer, and you could do something like that too. You could join us and then see how best all the knowledge that you have ever accumulated over the years could be packaged into a digital product that can easily be sold online across the world. And I believe that that will be an entertaining and interesting thing to do even after you have come on retirement. So look out for it, check it down there, and I believe it will be most helpful to you. Now let's look at point number 5. Now point number 5 virtually talks about invest in your well-being. I mean your well-being is very, very important. While we can't create more hours in a day, we can invest in extending our healthy years. We will not be able, or maybe not be able, to create more hours in a day, but you can do something to extend your healthy years by prioritizing physical health through consistent exercise and good nutrition. Make sure you are eating the best. Make sure you put your members into exercise, and make sure you don't just lie idle and keep eating, but step out there, go to the gym, go for that good walk, get on that treadmill, and make sure your body is wholesome and is getting better by the day. I know you may say, oh, but Nathan, I know this. I mean, most people know, and we are aware that we need to eat good, we need to exercise. But let me tell you something. In life, a lot of people know what to do, but few people do what they know. So by reiterating it and repeating it over and over again, it brings it back into your memories, and you always remember to make sure you are getting it done. Sometimes you know, but the conscious effort to get it activated and get it going may not be there. It takes several reminders for you to be able to get on course the way that you need to be. Next is your mental well-being. I mean, through mindful and stress management, you can significantly impact the quality of your life, and potentially lengthen the precious now angle. You can lengthen it. I mean, the balance that comes with time, money, and health can be lengthened depending on what you do to really get your life underway. And I believe these can be most helpful and can bring changes as you get to your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So let's move on to point number 6, which talks about how to buy back your time where possible. Now, you need to think strategically about tasks you dislike, or anything that drains your energy and also takes your time away from you. You must know the value of your time, such that if you are engaging it on an exercise which is not more valuable, you must find a way of delegating that exercise so that you can buy back your time. Because if you can afford it, that is a natural fact, you have to consider outsourcing almost most of the things that you think you are not good at, and it's taking your time and it's causing you not to be able to do those things that you are actually really good at. Now, whether it's a household chore or it's a task outside your expertise, buying back your time allows you to focus on what you value most, and you can even support others, because when you focus on what you value most, it means you make more time that you can use to actually support others that is outside your domain that you really want to help. Don't just blatantly think that time is money, but know that time is infinitely more valuable than money. And then don't go selling a whole lot of your time for just a little amount of money. Think about how you could free your time so you invest it into what matters most to you, and then also your future. So freeing up your time is very, very important, because all that we are doing is trying to buy back the little time that is left for us from now onwards, at somebody who is nearing its retirement age. Do only what you could not delegate. I mean, if there is a task that has to be done, and you realize that, as for this, I mean, I'm the only one who can do it, and for that matter, I can't delegate, then you can leave it as such. But if it is possible for it to be delegated, and the cost of delegating is not that much, you must be able to comparatively look at how much it's going to cost you to delegate, and then how much it will cost you when you have to do it yourself. Because most people do something for a living, but do nothing while they are living. This means that you do something for a living, means all that you do is probably go to your 9 to 5. That is what you are doing for a living, but you do nothing while you are living. And while you are living is how you really put into use your 5 to 9. So you must be able to build something for yourself whilst you are working for a paycheck, and that is actually very important. And all these things can only happen when you are able to prioritize your time, and you are able to really put a demand on it, and you are able to really use the little time that is left. So endeavor to make a living from 9 to 5, and then build a life from 5 to 9. I mean, take this seriously. Now, when you look at point number 7, it says, beware of the status trap. Beware of the status trap. I mean, it's very tempting, especially in your 40s and 50s, as you approach or enter retirement, to seek validation through material possession. Most people feels that, well, if I have that wonderful vehicle, or I wear that golden wristwatch, or probably I dress in a particular way, then I'll be well validated by my friends and my neighbors. But that dream car or that fancy watch might provide a temporary thrill. You may be thrilled for a moment, but lasting happiness rarely comes from external status symbols. Now, you need to reflect on the why behind every such purchase that you make. Each time you're about to spend money, you need to reflect and think about, what is the reason for this expenditure? Why am I spending so much on this particular item? Is it to boost my ego? Is it to validate? Or is it's really precious for my life at this time? So could you rent the experience first? I mean, often experience brings far more lasting joy than the thing. So you can rather probably go into an experience and then have a better feel of it, rather than these material things that we surround ourselves with. Because as we grow older, you realize that the cash is also very important. So you can't just be spending it on things that are not important and necessary. So be very aware of this particular point. How are you managing the material things that you accumulate around you? And when you take a very good decision about this, you realize that your life will transform, and it will be much better. Now let's move on to point number 8, which talks about your retirement expenses. Now, you should expect the unexpected. But most people feel that, well, as I draw through and get closer to this age, my expenses may be much cheaper or much less, because now I'm not going to involve or engage in so many other things. But many assume expenses will decrease in retirement, but the initial years can often see an increase as you finally have the time and a desire to do things you've put off for a very long time. Most are thinking about, okay, when I come, then this travel that I've not been able to do, this is the time for me to tackle it. Well, this thing that I've not been able to but, so this is the time for me to not do. Now I have time. I mean, I can spoil myself with everything. But I can tell you that these are the very activities that increases your expenses. So your past perceived voids becomes your present pursued value. Now, what do I mean by that? Your past perceived voice, things that you perceived in the past as very important, and you have missed them. That's the void that was created in your life in the past. You may now think that this is the time to really pursue those values. So a lot of things are going to come onto your table which you have never considered before. Things that in the past you have not been able to enjoy, things that in the past you really want to partake but you have never been able to. It's now that you are bringing them to the fore. And these are the elements that can really cause your expenses to really skyrocket. Now, what do I mean here? Things that you could not afford in the past. I mean, those are the voids that I'm talking about. Now, you may be trying to fulfill some of the things on your vision board as well. Probably on your vision board, you had this wonderful building or house that you really want to put together. You feel, okay, now that I am free, I think this is the time to do that. But the one thing that I want you to really start doing is to start tracking your expenses. Now, if you are in your 40s and 50s, get realistic picture about the plan that you have put in place and then try to go according to that plan. I mean, I may be prepared for the go years because these are the years that you really want to go and you really want to engage yourself. Be very careful about those years because these are the things that siphons your money out of your bank account. And if you are not careful, you are going to end up at a place where you never like financially. Now, point number 9 talks about how do you nurture your connections. Now, this is very important to me, and I believe us to be very important to you as well. You see, life gets busy. Life can be quite busy, and sometimes we lose touch with our dear friends. And these are things that we really actually need to consider because as you near those ages, you really need your connections, you really need your associations. You make a conscious effort from your 40s, 50s, and 60s to reconnect with old friends. Strengthen family bonds. I mean, if there are people in your family, friends that you were in school with and you've not seen for years, this is a time to start reconnecting and strengthening those bonds so you can come back together and reaffirm those connections and open new connections. If new people coming into your life will be a very nice thing to do. So make new friends, probably from your church or from your association or from the old school reunions. One thing that I remember very well is that I had to join an old school reunion recently to travel to a different state for a week and, just like a weekend getaway. It was a disruption in my schedule, though, but the secret is schedulers will always be there, but some of these memorable moments will not always be there. So you need to plan carefully. When the opportunity comes to hang around with other people, make it a point to be there. Don't always say no and probably bury your head in work, but make sure that you are always available and you are, joining up with friends and loved ones so that memorable relationships can be nurtured and groomed so that in your older years you still have someone to hang around with. So when you develop these good relationships, they provide invaluable support. I mean, we all don't hope that anything bad should happen to anybody, but when they do, you need to have a very good support by your side. People who can support you, bring you joy and a sense of belonging as you move through your life issue. Then last but not the least is run towards purpose, not just away from work. Now, as this gentleman was sharing this with me, I was like, okay, after you have finished everything in the realms of work, you still need to run towards purpose. He said, if you are feeling burnt out and looking forward to retirement solely to rest, that is okay. I mean, you feel work is overwhelming and you need to take a break, and of course you are almost at the age when you really want to come home and your main necessity is resting. Of course you need that rest very much and you need to rejuvenate yourself. That is understandable. However, many find that the lack of purpose can lead to boredom and a feeling of being lost. Now, when you come home and all of a sudden the excitement 1 month, 2 months, 3 months has passed, now you started feeling, being lost and a sense of boredom. You don't know what to do now. Now you wake up and there's so many hours ahead of you and you don't even know how you are going to tackle them. So start exploring some of your passions. I believe there's a passion in everyone. I mean, there's something that you may love doing in your past that you have never been able to find the time to do. So revisiting old interests, things that you were interested in of old. Of course, it may not be everything that you may be able to partake because as age catches up on you, there are certain endeavors that you may not be able to undertake. If you really want to play football, I mean, during the time past, and now you are 65, I mean, you may not be able to probably go back to the pitch and then run and play as you should do. But there may be certain other activities that can be quite entertaining and interesting that you can still get involved in, probably in your church, in your community, in the place where you stay. You could help others with other things, or discovering new ways to contribute and find meaning in your retirement. I mean, I believe when you open your eyes and you find out, you will be able to find ways and means by which you can get yourself entertained, so that boredom may not affect you. You can plan for purpose, not just leisure. I mean, this is not just a time to have fun, but it is always good to have something ahead of you, thinking ahead, and then, purposefully. By learning from those who have walked this path before you, you can make these your most fulfilling years by just trying to tackle things, by reflect on these pieces of advice, perhaps choose a couple of points that resonate with you and take action. The best is truly yet to come. You don't have to give up on yourself. And if you are in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and money is still a problem, because trust me, these things that I'm talking about, it takes money to do them. Don't forget our IRA40 program. IRA40 is for income revolution at 40. Now, that's an income revolution. So you can revolutionize anything that is coming to you so that you can bring in consistent income. We turn your knowledge and experience into an income generating machine. That is what we do. At this age, you have an accumulated wealth of knowledge. You have gone through so many activities. You have gone through experiences, and you have wealth of knowledge that is sitting in between your 2 ears, and it gathering dust. This is the time to even use that as a passion. Probably you want to train the young ones, you want to bring out ebooks, you want to print out reports, and you want to do things that can be a source of education onto the others that are now coming. And if you want to know how you can turn your knowledge into perpetual income, then you can download our free ebook, which gives you, it's like a guide that really helps you and let you know more about getting this done. So if this video has blessed you, like it, I mean, you can comment, you can subscribe, and so you don't have to miss subsequent videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the inside of IRA40 or in my next video. See you soon. Bye bye.